Hi, this is Dash at Bloom Where You're Planted. Good morning. I wanted to show you my chick setup. Okay, here we are. You can see the babies. This is my brood setup. This is just a big board there that I put on them at night to keep them warmer when the temperatures get low. There they are. Aren't they sweet? I love the noise they make. There's our favorite, the little blue cochin right there. So I've got two Brahmas right there. And there's the blue cochin. And then I have a couple of Americanas. They lay the green egg or the blue or pink egg. And then I've got golden lace Wyandottes. Can't remember which one. There's one right there. And then I've got silver lace Wyandottes. They're kind of black right now. There's one right there. And then I've got another cochin. It's called a barred rock cochin. So it'll look, there's one. There they are. I think that's them. It'll look a lot like a barred rock chicken, but just with feathers on its feet. The cochins have feathers all like kind of down their legs, so they have boots on. Not sure they'll be the best layers. I need to look that up, but my daughter fell in love with them. So that's what we got. And my daughter likes to get them in pairs so that they'll have like a buddy that's like them, which is so sweet. I like to get all different, but I figured it wouldn't be too many years that she would be with me picking out chicks. So I figured, I'll just let her do whatever she wants. So a couple things I'm doing different this year. Here's my setup. I just put some boards together. And then here is my reptile heat lamp, ceramic heat lamp. And there's no light to it. It's just warm heat. And that's because my son is a lover of all things and had a reptile, a bearded dragon. And so I bought that for the bearded dragon, or he did, one of us did. And the ceramic heat bulb, I'll show it to you. It just looks like that, no light to it. And it just emits heat. But you can use a regular bulb, and they sell those at the feed store when you get your chicks. So if you don't have a son that loves all reptiles and all living things really, then you can get a lamp. This is kind of nice because the light isn't shining on them all the time. And at night, if you're going to have a lamp with a regular bulb in it, you probably want to switch it out to a red bulb at night so it won't bother them as much. It's just a little intense keeping the light on them all night, but you do have to keep them warm all night. That's the main time you have to keep them warm here in Texas. So yeah, we're from Dallas, Texas, so spring has sprung, so it really is pretty warm during the day, so that's a good thing. We don't have to worry about the heat so much. Another thing, speaking about heat, another thing I'm doing differently is I don't have a thermometer. I love no thermometer. When I did chicks the first time, I was so nervous about keeping them the right temperature, which is 95 degrees. They start at 95 degrees, and then they drop down 5 degrees each week that they grow. I was so nervous about that the first time. And so I had the thermometer, and I made sure it was always the right, temperature. But this time, I just kind of watch them. If they're huddled under that heat device, then they're too cold. But if they can move around and eat and drink and like they're doing now, they are happy, they're plenty warm. So I just watch them now and just adjust the temperature. And the way I do that is I have a knot here, a slip knot here, and I can just take this up and down to lower, of course, warmer temperature, higher, and it's cooler for them. And I just have that attached to the rafters. So My Boy Scouts helped me with that knot, so that was very kind of them. But I'll put a link to show you how to do the knot where you can slip it up and down if you don't know how to do it. Love those Boy Scouts. They're always helpful on the homestead. So let's see, what else did I do different? I used to use just wood chips. So I'd get a big bag of wood chips and put them down, but they really kick them into the feeder and the water, and I was changing the water all the time. I tried putting it up on something, but I thought they couldn't really get to it that well because they were so tiny. They're growing a bit, but they're so tiny they really didn't seem like they could reach it. So I put hay down on top of the wood chips. A good friend of mine told me to do that, and man, it really has worked. They're no longer kicking those wood chips all over, you know, in the water and in the feeder. So that has been a blessing. Thanks, Christy, for that tip. She's my friend that's a chicken mama also. Oh, I just love that sound and the way they flit around. It's so fun. Nothing says spring like baby chicks. Okay, the other thing I'm doing different is fermented feed. And let me just feed them and I'll just take you along. To start fermenting the food, I start with chick starter from my feed store. I use non-GMO, soy-free, and non-medicated. And I put it in a bucket. So here's my bucket, and I put water with it. And I put a little bit of whey from my kefir, but you don't have to do that. It's important when you're fermenting feed just to have the water about an inch over the feed, so there's no feed connecting with the air because it will get moldy. I had to throw away my first batch because I messed up, but I never give up, so don't you do it either. Okay, so and then when you're ready to feed them, you just scoop it out and put it in a strainer because I want to get some of that water out. I've got a slotted spoon, but it just works better in the strainer. You cover it with water and then you wait 3 days for it to ferment. And you can have 2 buckets going. I know it looks gross, doesn't it? But my kids are so grossed out by this. Probably the only disadvantage to the fermented feed is it's a little bit more trouble. And the other disadvantage is my kids don't want to feed the chickens anymore because they think it's gross and it smells bad. It really doesn't have a bad odor though. To me, it smells kind of like pickles. Kind of a little sour odor. And it shouldn't have a bad odor. If it does, you've done something wrong and you need to start again. But it's really simple. And the reason I'm doing this is they get a lot more nutrients from the fermented feed than they do from the dry feed. And they get some vitamins, enzymes also that's developed when the food ferments on its own, and probiotics. So they're a lot healthier and they don't get pasty butt. One thing they have to watch out for with new chicks is pasty butt, and that's you just have to pick them up and make sure their vent is not clogged because they get very sick very quickly, obviously, as we all would if we can't poop. So there we go. So this really helps with that because there's a lot more moisture in the feed. So I'm just going to put it in their little feeder right there. So to me, it's worth it. A little bit of extra trouble is worth it to have healthy chicks and to not have to worry about pasty butt. Okay, and they love this stuff. So this will be enough for them for the day. It took a little bit to gauge, you know, how much they would eat in a day. But this seems to be the magic, just the whole thing all filled up. And by the end of the day, they've eaten it and they're ready for bed. All right, put this in there and you'll see how they go for it. I put it all the way around so everybody gets a spot. It's so funny how they vie for a spot though. They work it. You can tell there's already a pecking order, and I was watching the video that I shot earlier, and boy, they're already establishing their order. They're pecking each other and flapping at each other, and they're going to establish the pecking order. So one's going to be the top dog and eat first, and somebody's going to be lowest and eat last. We have a fire station near us, so there they go. Bless you guys. Stay safe. So cute. How they walk around and find a new space, and then somebody bumps them out and they go to a new space. So those are my chicks. I'm glad you got to see them and especially hear that sweet chick noise. They do have another noise they make. It is an alarm call. I don't want to disturb them right now to do that, but it is loud and it says, "Mom, where are you? I'm in trouble," or at least I think I am. And when we first got them and brought them home, they were making that call, and it is just ear-piercing. And it can carry for miles, I'm sure. Maybe not miles, but a long way. All right, that's it. I hope you are having some adventures this spring. And I should add that a lot of the cities around me, I'm one of the only cities that can keep chickens, so that's so sad. But I do know someone who took on the city of Allen legally, you know, through the city council, the proper channels, and they're now allowed to have 3 chickens. So she changed the ordinance. It took a good bit of time. It wasn't right away, and she had to work social media pretty hard and be pretty savvy about that to get it changed. But she did. If you can't have chickens and you really want them and you want to change your laws, then pay attention to what she did. Her name is Amber. I don't remember her last name, but I'll put a link up. Well, thank you for joining me on my adventure today of baby chicks. I will shoot another video when they've grown a bit. Thanks for watching. Happy gardening and urban homesteading from Bloom Where You're Planted. See you next time. Bye.